Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome back. I did a little bit of testing. So I took the foam and I made the chalk outline with the holster and with the gun itself.
Okay.
And I tested, I started with my X-Acto knife to work my way around it. And it wasn't really working that great.
Yeah.
So I tried just a razor from a box cutter.
Okay.
And this seemed to work really well. I don't know, for whatever reason, this foam responds really well to this kind of a razor blade.
Okay.
And so I just carefully, I didn't go too deep. I went around, and then I was able to, get the corners because it goes straight down. And then went around it again and went deeper, and got pretty far into it. And then once I had the outline, I used this this knife.
That's actually a tomato knife.
I used this tomato knife and plunged all the way through and then kind of worked my way all the way around each of the shapes very carefully. And this is nice because it's skinny and some of the detail work I was able to get, some of the little areas. And then I popped out the foam piece that was in there, right?
Okay.
And checked to see how well the holster and the gun fit in there. It looked pretty great, and I'll show a picture of that inside the box. And then what I wanted to do, because I'm going to do the flocking, I also started the testing on a couple pieces that I had. So I drilled the holes in this piece using that leftover back from the stereo.
Okay.
That has the holes in the nice lines, and the pattern's already drawn on there. I used that to make the holes, and the drill worked pretty good. So I just used a hand drill and just used that to bore out the holes where the bolts are going to go.
So you drilled out the holes. Hold up a bag of the flocking so we can
here's
see what
the
it looks like.
fibers. You can see the fibers
Oh,
that are
wow.
in there. It's
Okay.
very thin, very powdery. Now I don't have the applicator yet. That's still on order, so that should be in maybe next week. But
Okay.
I took a garbage sack. I painted the glue on the face of the foam.
Mm-hmm.
I set it inside the garbage bag, and I just pinched a little bit of the fiber and kind of tossed it on there, and then knocked it around a little bit and got the excess off and let it dry overnight. And you can see it's on there. I mean, it's really I'm pretty impressed with
Yeah.
the way that works.
That's
and then
interesting.
so then the bullets will go in.
A product that actually does what it
Yeah.
says.
And I think it's going to look really cool. I think it's going to work out just exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, it's probably smart that you tested it on a little test piece first.
Yeah, I tested on this piece too, because I want to see the cutouts. I want to see how it works, because this is just on the surface has a kind of sealed or closed off, even though it's got a texture to it. Whereas the sides are more porous, and you can see that they have. The glue can soak into there. So I wanted to see how it was going to respond. And actually, I think that the glue and the fibers make some kind of a chemical reaction, like an epoxy almost. And that's when it dries, because down inside here, there was still some glue that was, you can see that it's still wet. So I'm a little concerned about how that's going to work along the sides here. So,
And that's been sitting overnight.
yeah, it's been sitting overnight, and I tried to get some more fibers down in there, but like I said, I think that glue is soaking into the porous sides of the foam wall, and that the fiber isn't reaching in a way that it's going to harden like we need it to. So, what I did was, and also, I want the pieces that are going to be in here to be not sunk all the way down in there, but sunk in enough where they're not going to move around.
Okay.
But that also that it's a nice presentation
Yeah.
piece, right? So I took the cutouts and I cut a profile along the side, and I took a piece and then I reinserted it so that it doesn't just go all the way through. So I cut it out all the way through so the whole thing popped out.
Oh.
And then I cut it long ways like this in the shape that I wanted,
Okay.
and pushed that back in there so that they lay nice and flat.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same thing for the gun. And you can see on the gun that it's a little bit here in the back. I'm going to have to put some reinforcement in here so that if you push down, it's glued in there right now. So I just ran a bead of this Elmer's Craft Bond glue along the edge here and then on the back as well, so that stays put. And I'll probably put a little, like I have a little piece of reinforcement in here.
Yeah. All right.
But the other piece was that I because the surface works so well here, I took the top surface off of this, and then I'm going to glue that onto the
Bottom.
the bottom piece that I have in there, and I can if I can get this out without making damaging it. I haven't glued it down yet.
Huh.
So I just cut the top layer off because it's sealed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that flocking is going to adhere really nice to this piece.
Yeah, that was a smart move.
So I might flock this and then glue it in place and maybe just flock the top of it and maybe leave the sides black. I don't know. I'm a little worried that I'm going to do some more testing on the side here to see how it works, but I am concerned. Because, I mean, here on the side it seems to be dry. Maybe it's just because it's far down in there, for whatever reason it's not getting dry, but I'm a little concerned. I don't want the gun to get a bunch of green glue all over it. That would be awful.
Bad.
So I have the, I don't know where the piece that's shaped like a gun just went. I thought I just had it in my hand. So I'm going to do the same thing for the gun. So you can see the surface here is sealed. I'm going to just cut just a thin layer of that top piece, and then I'm going to insert that in here so that the pretty side is facing up.
Wow.
And that's what's going to get the flocking when I do it.
All right, so we are going to take a look at.
So we're going to cut out another piece here. I'm trying to think of which one I want to cut out. So you can see I've got the holster in there, and it fits in there real nice. Got the gun in there. It was a little further down in there on the front, but I did, like I said, cut out that the piece that had the sealed top, and I placed it in there. Let me move this gun here.
All right.
Carefully. So you can see, you know, I haven't glued this in there yet, but that's that piece that came off of this cutout.
Okay,
and I
so
just
that's like the
shaved
top,
off a little thin layer of it, and I'm going to probably glue it in there is what the idea is.
Okay.
But I wanted to put everything in here so I could kind of visually see where it's going to be when I place everything else. This one's not glued in there yet either, but again, it's just, I think it's going to make a nice, a more even presentation surface. Oops, that was a little piece I had in there for.
Okay.
Okay, and I can maybe get this gun out without damaging it. You know, if you were just going to stick a gun in the foam, you wouldn't need to do any of this work. This is just because I want to put the flocking on there, and I want to have a nice even surface. So I'm going to probably glue this in there, but I cut it. Well, it was a little bit of a pain, but not too big. All right, so the other stuff is where I want it now. I'm going to take just some chalk. Let me stand up there. Kind of cut around where I want it to be. And what I'll do is I'll cut towards the inside of it, not on the outside of it, because I want everything to be in there really snug. So I'm just putting a line so I can see where everything goes. It's kind of tight in there. Oops, I think I just moved my dies. My die.
I like how the dice are on the angle.
Yeah, that was your idea.
I know.
But it was a good idea.
Well, I thought, you know, you throw the dice and they don't ever land just
Square, of
and
course.
straight.
No, I think it was a real nice touch.
This reminds me of that game Operation.
It's a little like something like that, I guess. But here we go. Yeah, because once I cut it, you know, it's kind of hard to uncut. All right. Okay, I had this where I wanted it. It seems a little low, but that's where it looked best. Move it up just a little bit. So I don't want the walls too thin between the pieces, you know. And this is just a standard, you know, deck of card. So I doesn't necessarily have to use this one. I could get like maybe a vintage
Oh boy,
set of
we've
playing
sold
cards.
so many vintage cards over the years.
I mean like real vintage, like, you know, antique type.
Yeah.
Not just 60s or 70s, but like
Oh.
really old or something. But, you know.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and outline this straight razor. And it's nice because the chalk just, comes right off of this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to damage the razor or the surface that I'm trying to cut. And on this one, I don't know, I might see if I can find like a hole saw or something. I don't think I'm going to be able to cut a perfect circle. This one will be interesting too because I don't want it to, I just want it to go down in there just enough.
Yeah, you don't want it to fall all the way down.
Right. So it's only going to be, but I want it to stay firm, so I'm going to try to cut it probably a little small so that it sticks in there really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I got to take it out of here. Let me go ahead and pause and we'll come back here once I get this out of here.
Okay, so.
Okay, I got the foam out. It's in there pretty tight, so I kind of got to work it out. It takes me a minute. It's a little awkward, but I got it out. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead. I'll cut out where the other chamber goes.
Should I zoom in when you're doing
Yeah, you can see where I'm at. And I'm going to use, again, this guy seems to work pretty good. And I'm going to go along the inside and try to, I'd rather go too small than go too big, right? Because I can always go the other way. And I'm going to try not to erase my other lines while I do this. So that way. And this doesn't really have to be a perfect circle because it's kind of that bag. So this is kind of an easy one to show. I don't think I'm ready to do the coin one yet.
Yeah.
I have to think about that one some more. So I'm staying well within the lines that I drew. And that's the whole point. Okay, so now that I've kind of got the outline, I'm going to use this knife to pierce through there all the way to the back. Let's see if I can do this without stabbing myself. It was a little easier when the foam was completely solid, but as I continue to cut things out of it, you can see on the back it's going all the way through.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Just try to keep it straight, so I really just want to get this guy out of here without really too much hassle. And that should just about do it. Okay, perfect. So that's out of there.
Okay.
And let's see how it fits. And hopefully it's a little bit,
Yeah, so I guess.
tight. And that's perfect.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and then when I get the flocking in there, it's gonna, give it a little more resistance. And then what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna cut a chunk of this out and then put it back in there, and then it's gonna rest on it.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense, 'cause I didn't realize that you cut through the entire
Yeah.
foam, which makes sense, because otherwise it'd be too hard you'd have to pop it out. So,
Right. So I want it, I think, right about there.
yeah.
I'm gonna get my chalk and see if I can make a line underneath on the where I want it to be. Maybe without. Right. So I want pretty much just one. It's like 3 layers. You can't really see, but it's like 3 layers of this stuff.
I can see it.
And then it looks like that top layer is the one that I want. And that's the one that's got the nice sealed surface that the flocking is going to stick to. So we'll put that down in there like that. And hopefully that's
Perfect.
what I want. And that's what I want.
Nice. Lots of steps there involved, but I think it's gonna work out real nice.
Yep. And I'll do the dice, do the
Okay.
cards, do the razor, and I'm thinking about this one.
The coin
And once
one?
I got everything cut out, then these pieces that I'm putting back in there, and again, typically when you're doing a gun case, you just cut this stuff out and then it just sits in the case and it stays in there. It's pretty tight
Yeah.
because and then it's got like the egg crate foam on top and everything's supposed to be held in there real tight. So when you're traveling or,
Okay.
if you check it on an airline or something, if you're going hunting way up north or something and you don't want anything shifting around, this is not going to be put into a suitcase and
Right.
put on an airplane. It's not going to be dragged around in the back of my car. It's really just a presentation piece for the home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want everything to stay in there securely, but again, it doesn't have a handle on it. I'm not going to be running around, throwing it in the trunk of my car and things like that. So
Good. All right, great. Well, good luck with the little dice squares.
Yeah, I'll cut some more and come back and check
All
it
right,
out
yeah,
and
we'll
see
check-
what it looks
check
like
in on
before
you.
I start to glue all the other pieces back in that I want. Got everything cut out except for the holes where the bullets are going to go. And so I've aligned it with the deck of cards, and I've kind of changed the orientation, but I think this is going to look pretty good. I put a little piece of tape behind it. Hopefully that'll help with the holes will be cleaner. That's the idea anyhow. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these, and then I'll have pretty much everything cut out, and I just need to think about how I'm going to do the flocking. I'm concerned about the side walls of the foam where it's a lot more porous. Maybe I'll just leave that black. Okay, I've got all the cutouts cut out. I've got the bullets in there. I kind of changed the way they go in there, but I think I like that better that way. Now I just need to figure out how I'm going to do the flocking. I think I might, before I glue the parts of the cutouts that are going to stay, glue them in place, I may just do the flocking on the surfaces that are facing up, and then the walls, I may just leave them black. But I probably need to figure it out before I do any of that. Because it's either going to be one or the other. I don't think I can successfully put flocking on the pieces that are in here and then install them and then try to do the sides. So either I install them and I do it all at once, or I do all of the face pieces individually, assemble it, and then glue it on the sides so that it all holds together. You'll see. But it's coming together pretty good. I'm really pretty happy with the way the gun is in there. It's in there good. The razor's in there good. The cards are in there good. The dice are a little loose, but and this is a little loose, but the holster's in there pretty tight. I actually wound up using a hole saw to make the hole for the silver dollar, and it's an 1.5 inch hole saw, and it gives me just enough tension around the sides to hold it really good. So that worked out really nice.
All right, so it looks like Chris has some fresh brewed coffee, some Dunkin' Donut coffee.
Yeah, I probably don't need another coffee, but what the heck, it's the weekend. I want to do some painting maybe later.
Remember that movie with the coffee addicts?
Yeah, the coffee addicts.
What was that called?
Straight to Hell.
Oh, Straight to H-E-L-L.
Straight to
I
H-E-L-L.
don't
Come on,
think
you
we-
seriously can't say H-E-L-L on...
I don't know. I don't want to get...
Come on, that's dumb.
So anyway,
You can say hell on YouTube.
that movie was crazy. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Courtney Cox was in that movie. It's a cult classic. So I got everything cut out, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way things are moving along here.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so on the silver dollar, I used a hole saw that I had in the garage, and it worked real nice. Zip, zip, it pulled out, and so...
Have you ever used that before?
Yeah. This one, I think, probably was still in the package. I had some other ones that were larger that I've used. So I cut out all the way through, and then pushed it down in there, and then sliced off the bottom. So this is what I sliced off. It's about the thickness of a silver dollar. So if I pull the silver dollar out, you can see that this is what was on the bottom when I shaved it off. And so now it's just the right size to hold the silver dollar. And then I changed the orientation a little bit on the bullets.
Okay.
All right. So I had just 2 rows that were 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, and then I kind of changed it so it's just 6 this way and 6 this way.
Yeah.
And I think it fits in there nicer, and it was easier for me to put that template in there and tape it down so it didn't shift around. And I used the playing cards as a kind of a straight edge to put that in there. But the gun's in there real tight. The razor's in there real tight. The holster's in there real tight. Dice are a little bit loose. Not a big deal. Again, this isn't for traveling around. This is just for display.
Just for show.
And the other chamber's a little bit you know, loose in there, so it might flop around, but you know, it all fits in there.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Really nice. I need to put the key in here, and so when I do the flocking, I know it sticks really great to the surface. You know, that's not going anywhere. It's not going to damage the gun. It's not going to damage the holster or any of the pieces that are in here. But what, you know, the sidewalls, I'm really worried.
Yeah.
I've got green goo everywhere. You know, it's just not drying in there. So I'm thinking what I might do is just flock the flat surfaces.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing, and leave the inside.
And leave the sides black.
Yeah, nobody's going to see that part.
And I think it's going to look fine. So the way I'm going to do that is, you know, I've already got part of the cutout that's in here is already kind of glued in, but the surface part isn't. So I'm just going to, you know, I'll flock this piece separately. You know, this will get a layer of flocking on it. And then I'll install it and glue it in, right?
Okay.
Well, you know, obviously this is going to get a layer of flocking. That'll get a layer of flocking, and then the cards go all the way through. So I did put a piece of green felt all the way down on the bottom, so that'll have a green piece in there. The dice, I'll just pull out those little squares that are there, and each one of those will get the flocking on the flat surface. You know,
Yeah, and just leave the sides black.
Yeah, and leave the sides black.
Yeah.
I'll do the same here. This will get flocking, but the sides won't.
Yeah.
And then with the razor, you know, I'll pull this out, I'll do this separately, and then I'll install it, and the sides will stay black.
Okay.
And I think that's gonna work out, and that'll make it a lot easier because I'm just gonna be doing the flocking on a flat surface.
Huh. Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one a break. I think I've done enough work on this for today. I'm gonna set it aside and maybe work on some painting or something like that. But love to hear your thoughts on, you know, the plan for the flocking, leaving the sides black. You know, let me know in the comments below if you think that's gonna look okay, or if you think I need to do the sides as well. Love to hear your feedback.
I wonder if any of our viewers have done a similar project. If you have, let us know.
I've never done flocking, so I'm learning a little bit. And it may be fine to do in here if you get enough of the.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's going to be a lot easier just to put the glue.
Yep.
And maybe I didn't mix up the glue well enough because I know the colors mixed in here, and I shook it up and I stirred it a little bit, but I was just doing a test.
Yeah.
So we're kind of learning as we go.
All righty.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, good.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think.
Sounds great.